Number of board meetings every week. They're of course now being done predominantly via video, but after a short while, I observe the same patterns day in, day out. People switch off, everyone's eyes glaze over, and the person whose job it is to motivate, inspire, and excite is not being heard. So, why is that happening? Here's a very common error I observe daily, and it prevents you from being heard and speaking with confidence. Today I want to talk about qualifying phrases and the importance of language. Now, we're all guilty of doing this, but women in particular have a habit of weakening themselves and apologizing, even though often there is no reason to do so. So examples of qualifying language or words that lessen the impact of statements include, I think, just, if you don't mind, maybe, kind of, and sort of. By the way, the words kind of and sort of don't even exist in my mother tongue, the German language, and there's a reason for it. So in statements or emails, this looks a little bit like this. Hi, I was thinking if you don't mind, and only if you've got time, if you could maybe consider thinking about, or, look, while I'm not an expert on this issue, and I also haven't really had a chance to read any of the latest reports, I think I would have to say that ... Now, how does that sound to you? Does that inspire confidence in you? Most likely not. Now, there's a difference between being compassionate and being polite and weakening and qualifying your language. And it's important that you understand the difference. So here's my suggestion. Say what you mean and mean what you say. You don't have to apologize if you have an opinion, and you also don't have to soften your ideas. Let's fact check and ensure that when you base your statements on facts, they are correct. But if this is about your own personal opinion, and this comes up with creatives and the ad agencies all the time, then be brave enough to say it clearly and with confidence. There's a reason why you're hired. People value your work and your opinion. Otherwise, you most likely wouldn't have a job. So to finish off, I want to give you one last example of how damaging qualifying phrases can be. Here's what happens to one of the most famous slogans by Nike when you add unnecessary words. So the slogan we're all familiar with is, of course, just do it. Now let's add some qualifying words. I was wondering if you could maybe just, do it? If you've got time. Thanks. Okay, cool. Bye. So, as harsh as this sounds, people are not inspired to follow people who are constantly apologizing or qualifying their language. These famous quotes are quotes for a reason. They're direct, they're clear, and they give a directive. So here's some homework for you. Next time you find yourself chairing a meeting or presenting a pitch or holding a Zoom conference, say what you mean and mean what you say. Get honest with how you're feeling, and then have the bravery and the vulnerability to speak your truth and be willing to take some flack for it. Look, you're probably going to make mistakes, and yes, you'll most likely fall back into old habits, and that's okay. But it's time to be conscious with your words and your language. And here's a little tip. Every time you fall back into apologizing or qualifying, take note. Jot it down and then see if you can become clearer the next meeting. Let me know how you go. I'd love to hear from you.